Hello there, my name is Nate Jackson, the Eclipser. Welcome back. It's been a while since I last saw you. But you know, Criterion 8 had to do his thing, but I'm here for the next 2 weeks to talk about the next two series in the Eclipse thingamabobber thing that Criterion decided to put out with no supplements. Thank goodness it happened once and for all. This week, when I say week, it's Wednesday night, and then we're gonna go for Wednesday, Thursday, for the next 5 days. 1 to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll see my face looking a lot like Criterion 8, but not Criterion 8. Talking about the documentaries of Louis Malle, Series 2. And yeah, so for those of you who've been watching the Criterion 8 series, Criterion 8's been talked a little bit about Louis Malle's films. He's done 4 so far. There's Au revoir les enfants, La Comme Lucienne, Murmur of the Heart, and Elevator to the Gallows. But this is a different side of Louis Malle. This is Louis Malle looking at the world around him and filming what comes out of it. And so let's begin, let's begin the series with the first disc. Now, the first disc has 3 documentaries on it. I guess Criterion or Eclipse decided to put 3 of the shorter ones at the beginning. Because of that, they kind of go out of order. There's 3, some of these actually go between Phantom India and Calcutta, which we'll be doing on Thursday and Friday. These 3, I guess, just fit on one disc, so because of that, that's why we're doing these 3 first. So, let's talk about them. So the first one, Vive Le Tour, 1962, 19 minutes, color, monaural, in French with optional subtitles, 133, 1 aspect ratio. Basically, it's a really short documentary about the Tour de France. Not much else to say. It's difficult to describe these documentaries because it's basically just real life. You can comment on certain aspects of the documentary that you liked, certain aspects that didn't work, but for the most part you can't say, oh, you know, this shouldn't have happened like this, because it actually happened. That's the problem, you know. But the Tour de France, I mean, now I had no issue with the Tour de France. I mean, it's a really interesting race that, you know, it's held, a bicycle race that's held every year in France, and I just think it's a fantastic little documentary. It's a little short film. That's got some dramatics in it. Louis Malle there's a scene where one of the bicyclists, or I guess, has fallen off his bike and is having heart problems, and so they called for an ambulance. I guess at one point, a lot of the bicyclists had food bags that they had to catch from their trainers or something and eat while they were driving or riding, and they would leave the bags on the road, and motorists would like trip over them and all that, and it kind of became kind of a cluttered mess. Some bicyclists would, if they caught enough distance, they would stop pedaling and go into bars and steal drinks. And yeah, it's an interesting little tidbit. You know, it's some interesting little tidbits about the Tour de France. So, not much else to say. I think this is one of Louis Malle's, probably one of his first, I think his first documentary. I don't know if this is all of this whole set is all of Louis Malle's documentaries, but it's definitely an interesting start if it is his first. I'm not going to look up what the rest are, so we'll leave it at that. Anyway, Vive Le Tour. What do we give this? We'll give them all separate ratings. I'll give it an A. I mean, again, there's not much else to say. It's a neat little documentary about the Tour de France. So be it. Second one, Trop Humain. It translates to human and always human, or something like that. 1973, 72 minutes, color, manual, in French with optional English subtitles. Now, in French with optional English subtitles, you could have just said, you know, just deal with it. Because the thing is, there's little to no dialogue in this documentary. It's all about the automotive, like the workings of an automotive plant. So most of it is just machinery sounds. There's only one real scene where there's a lot of dialogue, and that's with we see a lot of like these people inspecting the cars at a car show and talking about the issues with them, and the car salesmen are trying to, you know, sell them the cars, and some of them are, you know, liking them, some of them can't stand them. But the rest of it is all just, you know, just people working at the car plants, you know. You see people, you know, putting the cars together and pressing the metal and all that. Not much else to say. Again, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. No dialogue, just people working for the most part. I mean, no narration, I should say. There is dialogue, but no narration. Unlike Vive Le Tour, which had Louis Malle doing documentary. I think he did the narration for that one. So anyway, yes, Humain, Trop Humain. Again, just a really interesting documentary. Very kind of an interesting look. Definitely just different. Just if you ever want to know how a car is made, or just want to see inside of a car factory, you are all set with this one. I'm gonna give it an A-. It's really interesting, but it just seems kind of empty. I think that might have been Malle's intent, but there could have been just a smidgen more, just a smidgen. Still, really good stuff. A-. And the final documentary we'll talk about tonight is Place de la République, which is a street in Paris. 1974, 95 minutes, color manual, French. So anyway, this documentary is probably the most thought-provoking, as that it's basically Louis Malle on the street interviewing anybody who walks by. They got permission to, they filmed for like a week, and they just interviewed anybody. Some people were like, oh, I don't want to talk to you, especially a lot of the younger women didn't want to talk to them. They were like really shy, and they thought they were all creeps, you know. A lot of the older women would stop and just ramble or sing. A lot of the men would, you know, most of the men would basically tell stories. At one point, Louis Malle actually, you know, one of the guys, I think, invites Louis Malle and the camera crew to have a drink with him in the bar, and so they talk in there. And yeah, it's really interesting to hear the stories they have to tell. I think one of the big stories is about a Jewish man who's hiding from the Nazis, I think back in the war or something like that. And yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because there's a lot more of the human element in this movie or this documentary than Vive Le Tour or Humain, Trop Humain. We get human element in Vive Le Tour, but it's all from the narrator's point of view. In Humain, Trop Humain, we get, you know, I mean, there's human element in that we see the workers, but there's no dialogue. It's just, we just see them face value. We don't get any speech or anything like that. In Place de la République, the people get to speak for themselves, you know, and Malle gives them ample time to express whatever they'd like to say and the room to do so. So because of that, it's probably the most interesting of the three documentaries. And yeah, that's basically that. So Place de la République, I'm giving it an A. If you're into just, you know, these like kind of man on the street kind of documentaries, we got you covered here. So if you're into bikes, Vive Le Tour. If you're into car plants, Humain, Trop Humain. And if you're into man on the street interviews, Place de la République. Louis Malle was kicking butt with his documentaries. And I'm looking forward to the next couple, which are Phantom India, which we'll do tomorrow, Calcutta, which we'll do Friday, God's Country, which we'll do Saturday, and The Pursuit of Happiness, which we will do Sunday. And then that'll be that. And then we will, and then next week at the same time, we will get started on the Late Ozu set, which will probably do the same schedule, be Wednesday through Sunday. See, that seems to work for us. I mean, that seems to work for me right now, and definitely Criterion 8 too. And yeah, so anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for Phantom India, the epic. And until then, goodbye.